Hello everyone, today's deck is not for the faint of heart. But before we jump into the deck explanation, tomorrow drops are going to start and we have a really sleek looking Rivals variant. We have 500 credits as one of the milestones, and so we will be live on Twitch tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time. And so if you want a cozy place to jump in and get those unlocks and get those Twitch drops, I would love to have you. Twitch.tv/TLSG Snap. As far as today's deck, this was created by a user named Danish. And Danish has been using this for the last several months, exclusively this deck. I've never seen him run anything else in the last several months. And this month, he was actually able to slingshot out into first place within the first couple of days. I don't know if he's still holding down that first ranked slot, but he was ranked #1 overall, which is phenomenal. He typically ends around top 25, I believe, running a very unique Hela deck. And when I said that this was not for the faint of heart, it is not for the faint of heart. It is a gambler's paradise, but it also has a lot of technical options, which comes down to how you navigate the deck. And speaking of navigation, I'm going to try my very best to navigate the deck as well as I can, but I can promise you that I am not going to run it anywhere near as well as Danish could. And so it's going to come down to a lot of how you position your cards, when you choose to do those kind of gambling levers, when you choose to stay, when you choose to snap. It is all going to come down to how you pilot the deck, how successful you're going to be. When I first started running the deck, it has been a roller coaster. I started out with around a 37% win rate over about 7 games, and then that same sample or data set, I was able to climb it up to over 60% win rate around 23 games in. And so we had just a huge shift, a big roller coaster of games. And so with that, snap and retreat effectively, because maybe sometimes it's going to be better to retreat for one when you had a really bad draw or the opponent had a really good one. If you can retreat for one and master the art of retreating, this deck is going to be phenomenal for you. The reason I really enjoy this list is it has a lot of cool technical options. With this being a Hela deck, I want to get out of our head that you have to run Hela or you have to drop Hela to be able to win. This one has enough alternate options that you don't need to necessarily have Hela down on the board to find a way to win. Even if we discard Hela, that is not an automatic retreat. There's a lot of ways that we could either leverage a Ghost Rider into maybe a Hela. If not, we're going to have another good unit into that Ghost Rider lane, and then we're looking for another way to win another lane from there. And so just because you lose Hela or you don't draw Hela does not mean that you're going to lose. Sometimes even if we have Hela, we want to just pivot and go maybe like a Gore on the last turn, or a Magneto or an Odin instead of the Hela. A lot of times we will lean towards the Hela option, but it is not an absolute. And so a lot of really cool ways to run this deck. Check out the games. They are a blast. A lot of times it feels like you just have the clunkiest hand, and then if you play it patiently enough, a lot of times you just find a way to win if you can outthink your opponent. You can really pay attention to what the opponent is doing or what they want to do to navigate your cards to try to find a way to lock them out of that winning play or whatever winning play it would have been. But we are going to go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce today's video sponsor, Deckland. Deckland is an upcoming single-player game that blends deck building, Yatanori-inspired mechanics, and roguelike elements to make for an incredible experience. Unlock equipment, synthesize cards into more powerful combo chains, and take on enemies in this epic adventure. Continue confronting more powerful foes and elite monsters with cards that you gain from your victories. During your adventure, you'll encounter events where your decisions will shape the items and rewards that you acquire along the way. Add Deckland to your Steam wishlist today. But if you can't wait to play, there is a lengthy Deckland demo out now for you to try. I downloaded the demo just to give it a try, and before I realized it had already been an entire hour, and I had just been navigating through the adventure, having an absolute blast with it. The demo will have regular updates to bring constant, fascinating content to unlock to hold you over until Deckland's formal release in 2025. You can find the link to the demo in the description or the comment section below. All right, next up we have Sherlock. The first location is Time Theater, so we get a duplicate of Corvus. You're not so sure that that's exactly what we want to see here. We do have Blade and we have Hella in hand. If we didn't have Hella in hand, maybe it's not so bad. With Hella in hand, it's pretty bad. Let's see. We're going to get a copy of a card in their hand. Juggernaut. Okay, good to know. And then we pull into the Korgrok immediately. Super unfortunate. But with these, we do have a really good shot at Corvus not discarding our Hella. So 6 cards, and even if it discards Hella, it's not a 100% you'll leave. But with them having big Cassandra Nova, I kind of want to draw like a Gambit. Gambit would be good. Go ahead and do double Blade. Then we really just have to be able to dodge, like getting hit with like either a Cosmo or an Eliath. Otherwise, I think we're in a good spot. We do get Gore, the God Butcher. I love, I love being able to throw him down. And most likely they're going to hit us with Black Widow. We won't be able to draw, and so then it's just what we have or what we had discarded. And so we're going to be reliant on Juggernaut, Jubilee, pulling out something amazing. So we'll see. So they forgot to activate Black Widow. Oh my goodness. We have a shot. Pretty bad shot, but we do have a shot nonetheless. Poor Sherlock. Forgot to investigate that activate button. Juggernaut right, and then a Gambit of their own. All right, so Moon Knight. It does open up additional space here, which might be good. Corvus is gone. All right, don't fail me. Ooh, into the Hella is very nice. Jubilee pulls out the Legion. We win the left lane. Juggernaut comes down. Corvus comes down. We actually tie the right lane. We win mid. We win left. Victory. Oh my goodness. This deck is not for the faint of heart. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have good old Juggernaut. The first location is Muir Island. We have Corvus in hand. We have Jubilee, Blink, Ghost Rider. A lot of our good utility tools we do have in our hand. And so now we're just looking for what the opponent is doing so that we can kind of decide how best to play them. And so Hood would be a clutter deck. There has been a little bit of clutter making a comeback. We have Legion now. Depending on what we draw next, we're most likely going Corvus. And then depending on what gets discarded would kind of dictate what we do from there. Now, the Vault could be interesting if we have the lead. Maybe slapping the Vault with a Legion could be fun. Opponent snapped. They snapped. The little gambler monkey brain in me wants to snap back, but I want a little bit better idea of what they're running here. Right? No. Oh, it happened too late, unfortunately. All right. So Ghost Rider and Odin. Not the cards we would have wanted discarded, I assure you. So Corvus can be switched. Ooh, we do get Hella. So Corvus can be flipped for Gore, Magneto, or Infinite. We could also go Legion here, leaving the door open for Blink next turn. Or do we want to lock them out of the game? Can't decide. Because we do have the means to be able to potentially go Odin on the last turn with the Hella resummon. Get a lot more in play. Potentially extend our reach to the stars above. By the way, I don't know that we go Blink this turn. Go Jubilee, but Blade is scary. I'm going to go ahead and go Legion. Well, we're going to go to turn number 7, you guys. We have the game extension. We had the means to rip away Limbo, but unfortunately, the Kate Bishop, the Ice Cube, tells me they are probably running a clutter deck. Like Viper, maybe Red Guardian, maybe Armor for the Ice Cube, who knows. The Legion could be... They would pull their Luna Snow. Jubilee would be kind of scary here. Go ahead and blink the Legion away. And we'll see what pops up. I guess we could have waited an extra turn. Alright, so Gore, they go Nico into Debris, tapping out their left lane for the Ice Cube to get destroyed. They draw deeper into their deck. They're going to be looking at like goblins and the whole 9 yards. Now, we could naturally just outright do Magneto. We have priority. Magneto here keeps Titania onto our side of the board. They're going to be looking to do Cannonball. We could also Magneto here. Get rid of the Ice Cube next turn, unless they have Red Guardian, at which case we'd be in a bit of trouble. We lock them into this left lane. That's what we're going to try for. The magic flies over into the right lane. We have an extra space, so even if we didn't have the lead in that left lane, we do have the extra space from the Ice Cube. They go Viper plus Kate Bishop, sending Kate Bishop. They go Green Goblin, and so we have the lead in 3 of the 4 lanes. Let's go with a, let's see. We hit a Ghost Rider and an Odin if we go Hela. Or we go with a 4-cube retreat from Juggernaut. We'll take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have rank number 36, Kendrick. The first location, Danger Room. Hopefully not too dangerous for us and very dangerous for them. We have Throne Room. We do have Blade, so we can always Blade into the Jubilee, but no use in wasting it. They go Loki with their... oof. All right.
I am Ego.
We're going to snap into it.
My domain.
But I want to be clear. This deck is garbage for Ego. Because there's so much heavy RNG involved. And like playing the cards in a particular order is also very important. So unless Ego just cooks, probably garbage. Okay, Ghost Rider resummoning the Magneto. Not bad. Not a bad location either. Valentina, it's fine. Shadow King, good. I approve.
I'm coming.
Could be hard for them to pinpoint the Shang-Chi into mid. I'm hoping probably Jubilee or Gambit here. Oh, well, I don't really want Jubilee in Throne Room. But thanks. Let's see. Blink to rip the Shadow King into Legion. So now there is a lot of egos. The first game I've ever seen triple ego. Let's go. We're gonna pull any other 3 or 4 cost cards, but they don't have any. And so now it's 25 power mid, and we have to be able to outpower them in the right. Gore would be pretty good with all of these on reveals. I'm here for it. 17 power. Very likely that they over the output, but they do not. I figured if we're gambling, we might as well gamble. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Subie. The first location is Atlantis. We're not going to get much use out of that. We may change it eventually. In our opening line, we do have the Infinite, Legion, Ghost Rider, and Hela. And so they start with Kitty Pryde. Space Throne is kind of interesting. Maybe we eventually slap a Legion down. We'll see. Legion either into Space Throne to extend it into the other lanes, or into the other lanes so that we can play multiple cards into the Space Throne, depending on like what direction their deck goes. And of course, what cards we get discarded or we destroy of theirs or whatever we need to do. And so Kitty Pryde plus the Hood in the left lane. We aren't going to have priority only because of Atlantis. So their Hood right now shows as a positive power. Let's go with the Gambit into... I'm going to go into Lake Hellas. And I'm honestly hoping we don't destroy the Hood. Maybe more so like the Kitty Pryde. But we'll see. Infinite is a huge, huge hit for us. As our discard. We love to see it. We could go... go ahead and go Ghost Rider. Just to get it down. Maybe it becomes Ghost Rider here.
Opponent snapped.
Into Legion here on 5. Could lock them potentially out of the game. And they went ahead and snapped. We'll see. Whoa, that is a lot of cards in the right lane. A little bit scary. I assume... Oh, Acid Arrow. Okay. So now we can't change the Space Throne, but what we can do is change the other lanes. I kind of want to change this left lane instead of the right. Do we think they have Shang-Chi in their deck of small ball stuff? Maybe. I'm gonna go ahead and throw Legion left and see. Oh, Viper. No such luck, Subie. You're gonna have to try again. We have Legion. That doesn't mean they don't have like a cannonball that could wreck us, right? So Cannonball would end up doing what? Pushing this, we'd have 7, 14. We'd actually win this left lane still with a Cannonball. And so we are, I think we're back in business. Magneto is not something we want to do. We're going to go Gore to the right. Right now they're going to have to compete for here. This will make them have to compete here as well and here. Either that or we just go bigger in Atlantis with the Gore. I'm going to go Gore to the right. I'm going to go with my gut. And so Emperor Hulkling. No. Okay. I thought they were going to win from an Emperor Hulkling Ultron. But we are able to hold down the win with the Gore in the right lane. We'll take the 4. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right. Next up we have Sneak Attack 37. The first location is Great Web, which is not necessarily great for us, but I don't know that it's great for them either. We have Kitty Pryde, another Kitty Pryde deck. Whoa, Central Park is going to be start yanking cards over into that left lane. They can always protect one spot with their Kitty Pryde, and we're susceptible if ours is the one that gets pulled. And so Kate Bishop, another very similar deck to what we saw before, I think. Interesting. The Throne Room comes back down. Let's go Corvus versus the Gambit. Right now, we don't really have any good hits for Gambit. So I'm going to go Corvus over to the right. And without having Hela, without having Jubilee, Blink, I think we're in a really good spot to have Corvus here. Almost want to snap into it, but it also kind of depends on what their follow-up, because this could be a Wiccan deck. It could be completely different than the last Kitty Pryde deck that we saw. But it is starting off very similar, where it's a little bit of like clutter. Ooh, basic arrow, okay. And Pim arrow. So no acid for them. Lose Gambit and Odin, which is not awful. Then Gore. So I think we're going Ghost Rider here. I was thinking if we top decked Legion here, we could potentially sneak our way into No, probably not. With them having Kitty Pryde, I don't know that that would be the line we would want to go with, but there's a thought. We could turn off Great Web one way or another. They snap. If they do have the clutter stuff, then we are very susceptible in Great Web. Let's see, whoa, they lock in the left lane with Wiccan. Very brave, my friend. Very, very brave. We get, okay. Odin re-triggers the Ghost Rider. We're going to have the Gambit come down. Let's see what happens. Infinite is now gone. Whoa, the big scary squirrel of all things. Now we get Hela, which is hella good. Do we I mean, we were winning the left lane. We snap this back, right? We have Infinite that resummons. I feel like we always snap this back. I think they may leave, but we're in a really strong spot. I'm gonna try Gore over here into the right lane. They might hit us with an Eliath. So I'm gonna go Gore into mid instead. Oh, we had priority, it didn't matter. Alright, well. Legion into Central Park, and so we're getting a few squirrels across the board, but I'm glad we played into mid now because we do not get out positioned by the squirrel. It doesn't cap us out into mid, so it turns out that was the correct play for us to do. Let's go with the Magneto into the right. I'm kind of surprised they stayed for the 4 cube so far. Let's go Magneto and see. They could have what? Eliath. They could have maybe Shang-Chi for this left lane to take care of Gore, but then they're still losing the left. How do they win the right from there? They have Pim Arrow, so maybe a big Kitty Pryde? I don't know. We have a pretty big Magneto that I think gives us a lot of strength, a lot of advantage. We do end up forcing the sneak attack retreat for 4 cubes. We will gladly take it. Go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right. Next up, we have Ejecto Sito, which I may make a fool of myself, but I'm pretty sure is a Fast and the Furious reference. I want to say Fast and the Furious 2? I don't know. I watched the first few, and then after Tokyo Drift, I never came back. But got a good chuckle out of the name. The first location is Castle Blackstone, so if we can be winning there, then we get the extra energy. They go Cable into Miniaturized Lab. They have a big array of things that they could pull. There's no telling. We do get Gambit. So let's go ahead and play it over into Castle Blackstone. Ideally, we'd get the extra energy, but I doubt that Gambit is going to be enough to win that on its own. And with it being just Cable... could be a Wiccan deck that just missed their turn 1 play. Could be just a mill deck. Whoa, the skip. Interesting. We lose Jubilee. Not a great loss for us. But we have 5 energy here. We go Blink. So Gambit into Legion, into Infinite, Odin, Hela. But instead, I think we're going to go Corvus. And I'm going to go Corvus to the left. Because we don't have Hela. Honestly, we don't know if they drew our Hela or not. So we'll see. But this allows us to go Gore next turn, which I think is gorgeous. And we do have Hela. And so they didn't draw it. And so now we're in the driver's seat. Jubilee, Magneto, Blink. Let's go Gore. We snap into it. We snap into the Gore. They do have Galacta down, so we have to kind of play it cautiously. You know what? I'm a little bit afraid that they would leave, so I'm not going to snap into it. We're just going to play it as is. If you were playing this and you weren't creating content, you didn't want to see the end of the games, I think we're definitely in a snap position here. So big Nico, if that is the double up, no, okay. Into Malekith. Very interesting. They do get the extra energy on that final turn, that's fine. Odin. No, we don't have any way to like accidentally potentially discard the Odin and then have it hit over here, do we? Magneto, Blink, Jubilee. Okay. I'm going to go Hella into mid, and then we'll see. I really don't know what they have up their sleeve, but we'll see. Blink doesn't hit anything. Into the Jubilee stacking in the left. The Magneto, however, could save the day here. Could be the difference maker. Gore comes down in the right lane. That's probably fine. And then Baron Zemo is going to pull Blade, which is not going to be enough. We win left. We win mid. Magneto came in clutch. Jubilee whiffed as hard as she possibly could. And we still find a way to win the 2. We will take it. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have nothing. Go ahead and skip on 1. A lot of times I like to hold the blade. Leave it in hand, especially if we're going to have like an Odin, because then we could potentially reposition the Odin onto the blade to discard further. They're going to hit us with a Loki, so they're going to have extra energy. It's all going to be just hodgepodge at this point. Go ahead and skip again. With the owner reveals repeating in Valhalla, I honestly think we might go Jubilee there on 4. Being able to dig 2 cards out of our deck feels pretty decent. So they go Quinjet, Quicksilver. I'm assuming, and Zabu. Do they have a Wiccan? Is that what they're going with here? The Wiccan line? All right. I don't think we go Blade. Just in case Jubilee pulls into a Corvus. Ooh, into the Hela. Their Hela is burnt. But they are going to have another Loki. And so, it is what it is. Let's go Jubilee into mid. We're going gambling, you guys. We have some really good cards left in our deck. Corvus Gambit would help us with the Hela line a touch. And then we have Gore, Magneto, Infinite to help us in this mid lane as well. So I almost want to snap into it, but I've kind of been getting pummeled, so we're gonna pump the brakes a little bit and just play it naturally. So Gambit had no targets to be able to destroy, and so we're fine there. Jubilee pulling out the Magneto for them to cap out that mid lane. Gambit is gonna repeat himself here though, which is unfortunate because theirs is gonna go off first. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. We lost the Magneto, but we kept Jubilee, so we pull into the Infinite. Oh my gosh. Not how they thought their day would go, I am sure. How do we navigate from here? We could, I think we just skip. It feels weird, but I think we just skip or do like, I guess anything, really. They could potentially get something into Death's Domain, so maybe we don't skip. Maybe we don't play it so loosely. I'm gonna go ahead and Legion the left lane. See what we can do. I'm not gonna snap them, but we are gonna make it where we can fight and play for either left or right. We know we don't have an Goliath. Ooh, Corvus is not what we were looking for there. I was looking for the Gore instead, but something that would be kind of gorgeous would be this play right here. We throw out the Blade, we flip into the Gore, we throw another 14 power unless they go higher than us in the left. To the left, and then we settle up from there. Let's see what they're going to go with. They could have a Gambit that they're going to lean into pretty heavily, but they're at that point, they're just gambling worse than us. Let's go with the Gore. We have 30 power. Legion comes down. It's an all-out tie in the left lane right now. Depending on what they have in the right lane, I don't think it is going to be much. I don't think it's going to be able to overpower the Gore Blink. Taking the Legion, no, nothing left in their deck to be able to flip to. We will grab the middle, the right, we tie the left, and we are going to grab the game. This is one of those decks that you have to think on your toes. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. Next up, we have Tequila Pete, man of culture. The first location is the Raft. We are not going to be the first one to fill it up, unfortunately. Weapon X, not bad. We lose our Magneto. They lose their US agent. Perfectly fine with that. And then we do get Gambit. So depending on what they play this turn. Valentina. Gambit, I guess, is fine. Corvus. Gambit or Corvus? Go Corvus. Then we could always do maybe Legion into Weapon X. Depending on what we lose, we could go Legion into Weapon X, make them lose some of their cards and dig through their rest. We could Legion into the Destroyed Mansion so that maybe they get capped out. And then we'll see. We do lose Hela. Okay. So losing Hela is not the absolute end for this deck. So let's go with Vibranium Ghost Rider. We could resummon Gore, Hela, or Magneto. Ooh, a Malekith to cap out the raft.
I'm coming for you.
You get Hela, which is not bad. Into the Magneto mid. We didn't really want Magneto mid, of all things. Yeah, it is. It is what it is. All right. Running low on space now. Do we ever Legion? Probably not, but we could. We could Legion. We could also Jubilee, which would be looking at... If it was Blink, it would be looking at Ghost Rider into Infinite. Jubilee into Blade would lose Odin, which we don't want. We could also skip here in case we get Infinite. Gonna go Legion left. I didn't think they would cap out any locations, so I figured it'd probably be fine. Oh my goodness, we know what free card they got. Red Hulk. We could blink this into Legion. We have some good power across the board right now. We could blink this into, or the, not lead. We could blink this into the Infinite. We could also Gambit Jubilee. And we're just kind of gambling at that point. Depending on what we hit. I'm gonna blink the left into Infinite. That's what we're gonna do and call it a day.
Power must be
Ooh, Shang-Chi's not good.
We are the future.
Oh, yeah, no, we might not lose. It's a tie in mid. Comes down to a point differential. Shadow King offsets the Red Hulk, and we actually win the left. We win mid. We win right. Oh no. They knew that the Shadow King was over there too. We are the ones that didn't. And their Shang-Chi is not enough to overpower the Blink. The Magneto giving us the Corvus. Oh my goodness. We will take the 2, and that is where I'm going to go ahead and end the video. I can't anymore. The deck has so many, what feels like almost clunky lines, but if you can outthink and outplace, and sometimes you just play to your outs and play to your odds, you can find some weird ways to win. We're going to go ahead and end it there. Thank you guys, as always, for being here, and thank you once again for Deckland for sponsoring today's video. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.